So I recently picked up the Terminator Resistance game. I found it on sale on the PlayStation Store and decided, why not? It's a good enough price. I've got a few bucks to spare. Let's do this. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good game. Now, I'm not here to make a little review about it. There's been a billion of those already out there. But something kept eating away at me that compelled me to make this video. I almost didn't bother picking up the game at all. And the reason is the Metacritic score. Now, I'm not really the kind of person to stop to read a review or check out a video on it, but if a certain game catches my eye, I will crack open an aggregate site, an open critic, or in this case Metacritic, and see what the consensus is. If an individual says a game is trash, maybe they just didn't like it and it's actually pretty good. But if everyone is saying it's trash, that might be a waste of my money and I don't want to do that. And that's kind of what happened with this game. It got a 60. A 6 out of 10. That's bad. Now, I'm pretty forgiving overall. There's a lot of games that I like that fall under the dreaded 7 out of 10 category, which in this day and age might as well mean 0 out of 10. But 60's pretty bad. That's no bueno, so I decide to just disregard the game. But I keep seeing it on sale. And I have a bad memory, so I forget. And the last time I stopped to check out the aggregate on this, it's still 60. But then I notice on the other side that it's 8.1 on the user side of things. And that piqued my interest. Why was there such a big difference between what the critics had to say and what the users had to say? And after having played it, I like it. I like it a lot. And I'm definitely on the side of the 8.1. Because that's 6.0. That's 60. It is wrong. It's not just inaccurate. It potentially causes somebody that would definitely enjoy this game not to bother getting it. Like I almost didn't. And I'm glad I did. I'm a fan of the Terminator movies. And you could tell that the people that made this game are also fans. And they wanted to make a good Terminator game. And that's exactly what they did. And there's something I just noticed right now as I'm putting together some footage to edit this video with. The original release on the PS4 got a 47. That's not just bad, that's terrible. And this is absolutely ridiculous. But that gap is still more or less the same. 47 on one side and 7.4 on the other. Apparently the enhanced edition, which is the one I picked up, got better reviews. It was a little more highly regarded. But from 47 to 60, it's from diarrhea to solid turd. And that's not good anyway, and I don't get it. And it gets even more confusing with the meta for the PS5 version. It stands at a 62, but the user rating is 6.9. What is going on here? Do people like this? Do people not? This is one of the most confusing things I've ever seen. I don't understand it. I mean, what's the real problem here? What's there to complain about? The graphics aren't the best thing on the planet? The game looks and feels a little bit like Fallout? I mean, yeah, the lockpick mechanic is straight ripped out of a Bethesda title. But if somebody told me I've got an idea for a game, it's Fallout, but in the Terminator universe. I'm into that. That sounds like a great idea. And that's exactly what they did here. And they executed it very well. And unlike Fallout games, the shooting in this game is actually good and fun. I had a great time shooting down Terminators. And there's a little bit more of a focus on stealth in this game, and the stealth is done pretty well too. You could get seen by something and ruin the sneaking for a moment and be able to recover without having to reload your save file because everything on the planet saw you. And there's a nice little upgrade tree which makes you more powerful. There's this cute little hacking mechanic, and the hacking minigame is pretty much Frogger, but it allows you to, let's say, hack a turret, which will turn itself against the Terminators, helping you clear out an area far more easily. And it's all pretty fun. There's nothing new or original necessarily, there's nothing groundbreaking, but that's okay because what they did was done well. The level design is quite good. The maps are just large enough to keep exploration interesting without getting so large that it becomes exhausting or boring. And everything moves along at a good clip. Occasionally, they'll throw in a high intensity gunfight with some Terminators, or maybe a chase sequence where a gigantic thing is trying to explode you to death, and it keeps everything fresh. And there's good enough level variety to where that Fallout aesthetic doesn't grow stale. And the story is pretty good too. It's essentially a prequel story leading up to the events of the first two films, and it's well paced, and there's some nice little NPC side quests that you could disregard, but they do add to the overall world building. And throughout the whole game, there's little touches and Easter eggs and nods to those original films that show that the people that made this really cared about the franchise they were working with and were trying their damnedest to make the best quality product that they could that was true to that franchise. And honestly, they succeeded admirably. And shouldn't that matter? Shouldn't that count for something? This game was very obviously a labor of love made by true fans, and I don't feel that was regarded much. This game does not deserve a 4.7 or a 6 or a 6.2 or even a 7.4 or whatever else ridiculous number it got. I've never seen a game that's all over the place when it comes to review scores like this, but the overall poor reception is wrong. As a Terminator fan, I thoroughly enjoyed this, and I feel any Terminator fan would thoroughly enjoy this as well. This is the very definition of an underrated title, and a game that certainly did not receive the love it rightfully deserves. And if me having made this video causes someone out there that saw the same thing I did with those review scores and decided not to get it to change their minds, then I'm happy I made it, because that's the reason I wanted to make it. This game deserves to be played, and is far better than what the review scores say it is.